G'day guys, I'll try and jet through and make this a really quick version of the Melbourne Cup preview for this year. Looks like we're going to get pretty firm ground. It looks like it's going to be a good four. They'll put a bit of water on it to make sure it's not a road, but expecting pretty fast circuit. I think the speed will be pretty genuine. I don't think we'll see what happened last year where they've really gone out too slow and made it a sprint home, which was to the detriment of quite a few runners in the race. Obviously, bunch margin, bunch finish. The run of Surprise Baby was pretty special, but apart from that, most horses sort of finished pretty close together. I think there's a couple of horses in this race that ran in the race last year. Twilight Payment, Finch, are two that I definitely think will really want to make this a more genuine staying test, which could play against fancied runners who aren't yet proven at the distance. So I think for them to give themselves the best chance, they have to either free roll it a little bit or at least build the momentum and put a bit of pace into the race a little bit earlier, certainly than they did last year. So I'm expecting it to be a genuinely run 3,200 metre race. I'm just going to talk about, I won't go through every runner, I'll just talk about the horses that I think have best chances from top to bottom. I think Anthony Van Dyke is certainly a quality horse, form around the likes of Stradivarius. It's for me a far superior staying prospect, talking about 3,200 metres to Sir Dragonet, who came out and won the Cox Plate nicely, did have plenty go in its favour there, and I think it will struggle in direct comparison to Anthony Van Dyke over the 3,200 metres. I think the soft draw is imperative, which it's got. Bowman will allow the horse to not have too much dead weight. He's had a run on the horse. Obviously, it was a very nice closing effort in the Caulfield Cup. You can see that he jumps nicely. He's not devoid of tactical speed. He's led and beaten Stradivarius. He was dragged out of the race. And whilst he doesn't have an electric turn of speed, he certainly has gears. So he does quicken, he continues to quicken, and he can sustain a run, which, whilst he is held on the line here, I expect him to race closer to the speed, not have to give that sort of start away. He can do something similar, if not improve off that fitness-wise, and I expect him to run very well. The 58.5 is certainly a steadier. He deserves it from a quality perspective, and I expect him to run really well and finish in the first sort of half a dozen for sure. Avilius, I think, had its chance. I'll just sort of go through. I think Vow and Declare was very lucky last year, not going as well. The blinkers were a shot at the title. Master Reality obviously ran well last year. I think $21 is probably about its price. I'd probably throw it in for the lower end of your exotics, but I'm not too keen to entertain it. I think the what's it got? Synthetic Hoof Filler 2 is a bit of a worrying sign. 60 days between runs. Got a bit against it this year, and I think a faster tempo will also be against it. So Dragonet is the main chance in the race that I'm happy to oppose. I think it's more of a 2,000, 2,400 metre horse at the highest level, and from a sticky draw, I think he's going to have to put in a pretty special effort to get over the top of these, and I just think he's well and truly well found at sort of around the $10 mark. I can't have him. I'll be leaving him out. Twilight Payment's a horse that I'd be interested in throwing in. I think it's going better than it was this time last year. Its form's quite solid. It does go on dry ground, which is important, and I think it's a sort of horse that could get up on speed and keep rolling. I'm throwing it in exotics, probably second, third, fourth, better than winning, but certainly throwing in exotics. Very elegant. The more you watch that Caulfield Cup run, the more you want to throw her in, but you have to be truthful with yourself that it wasn't on good ground. She's a 9-time winner on slow and heavy tracks. She's a 6-time Group 1 winner as well, but she's a very talented horse, and she's a Group 1 winner on a good 3 as well. to run the 3200, I think the sting out of the ground was probably needed. To run the 3200 out and win at this level, I think probably the sting out was needed. The dry track's against her to a certain degree, but she's such a trier. She's proven me wrong so many times. I half expected her to prove me wrong again. But I'm throwing her in, but again, the minor end of the prize, I'm going to risk it for the win. Mustajir I'm throwing in at the very bottom end, sort of third and fourth maybe. I think it's from the low gate, can plug away and be dangerous, especially if they go quick. Stratum Albion I'm leaving out. I think it'll run the trip. I think it'll run first half. I just think it lacks the quality to run top four. Dashing Willoughby, I have to leave it out. If I'm going very wide, in exotics, third and fourth, in a number where I maybe a little bit more confident about my first one or two, I could throw it in because its form in the UK warrants being in the first half a dozen. Its last up failure doesn't, but they blamed the track conditions and it does get firmer ground on Tuesday. So it's possible that it could reverse its form. Finch is a horse that I'm definitely throwing in. Most exotics, I'll be throwing it in the win for something smaller. Placings definitely. I think it's primed to run well. James McDonald suits. He's got the balls, for a lack of another term, or the positive attitude to put this horse into the race nice and early, make it a staying test, and make them chase Finch rather than make Finch chase them. And I think that's the most important part of its winning chances. Prince of Iran will be buried sort of 2, 3, 4 back the fence and do no work in the run, just needs luck in running to run well. Obviously ran very well in the Caulfield Cup. I think it has to probably find a little bit to win this race, and I think it's top 4 chance again. I'd rather risk it for the win. Surprise Baby, just an incredible run in the Melbourne Cup last year. The only horse to make ground. They absolutely walked. This horse was dragged out the back due to gate 20. Craig Williams goes aboard, and no knock on Jordan Childs, but Craig Williams is an incredible rider, especially under these sort of circumstances. Drops in weight, has been well looked after by the trainer to target this race. See Surprise Baby back here on the outside. Everything else is raced on pace. She's completely defied the pattern in this race. Nothing has run on really. She's come from back, wide, rounded them up, and beaten, 3/4 of a length. Pretty incredible performance. If she produces that again, I think she'll probably win. And she probably doesn't need to, in respect to, she should settle closer in the run and not have as many behind her and not have to sustain such a run. There is conjecture that she does better against off slow tempos. She's not really had too many chances at peak periods during her preparations, and she's also run into a lot of slow tempos, and performed well. Sorry, he, not she. But we'll probably know more tomorrow because it's D-Day, but I think this horse has been set for one race, primed to go, should go very close. King of Leogrance, I'm against. Russian Camelot's the horse that reminds me a lot of Fiorente. I just love that this horse settled back, circled the field, ran well first up, put on pace on a fast tempo, second up, way too strong. This is at weight for age. Third run back, Arcadia Queen's had the softest of softest sits behind him. He was maybe a little bit too one-paced at 2,000 metres for the like 1,800, 2,000. Then he was again one-paced in the Moonee Valley Cup, but he was again put up on a tough speed there, and I really love the recipe for this horse to be peaking at 3,200. I don't think Danny O'Brien's had any interest in winning any of these races along the way. I'm sure that he's been trying for his life, don't get me wrong, but I think this is the race he's wanted to win. I think he's trained the horse for this race. He's put Damien Oliver on. There's so much that reminds me of this horse of Fiorente. Even the run in the Cox Plate last start around Moonee Valley, up on a fast tempo, just beaten 2 lengths, but a really strong effort. The gate's a little bit of a nightmare, and I just hope that they sort of settle midfield-ish and he finds cover. And I think he'll run a huge race, and I think Surprise Baby, Russian Camelot, and we'll talk about Tiger Moth in a minute, are two of the 3 horses that can blow this field away, given the right circumstances. Steel Prince is very honest top 5 or 6 chance. Chosen One, very similar. Ash Run, same sort of boat. Can run top 6. Gate 24 really hurts its chances, but I love these horses on the quick back up. Ran well in the Geelong Cup, looked like 3,200 metres right up its alley. 61 kilos the other day, drops to 53. The gate's a nightmare, but Declan Bates really has to put in a career best effort to get it home. But I think the horse will run well. Warning looks like it's been crying out for 3,200 metres, and another horse that's a top 6 chance, but I don't think it can win. Etta James, no. Tiger Moth is the boom setup. It's got the lightly raced European 3-year-old setup, which has become so popular. This is the Irish Derby, where it's raced on the outside here and had to cover a little bit of ground. Winner gets an inside run. Here it is on the outside. The winner comes from back inside here, gets an inside run and shoulders out on the turn. They're shouldering out, so we've got Tiger Moth on the outside, the winner on the inside, and they gap the rest. This has to be good form. It just has to be. 52.5. The horse has come out and had a little kill first up to get the penalty to get in the race. Super strong there, ridden like a good thing, took the lead nice and early, strong to the line. We'll show you that just to quickly. Is this the right horse? No, wrong horse. I did have it there. Yeah, it just sat outside leader, kicked away and won very softly first up. Shows up here 52 days later, which looks ideal. Obviously hasn't seen 3,200 metres yet, but I'm sure this horse profiles just as well as most that have come here in recent times with similar age, lightly raced and strong form lines. I can't see it doing anything but running well. Gate 23 again is the nightmare. Kerrin McAvoy is one of the best riders of stayers in the country. I have no doubt about that. Ocean X, no. Miami Bound, I think, just lacks the class. Really needs a world-class effort here, or a big jump in rating, if that's what you want to call it. Doesn't get the wet ground that I think it really needs to measure up to something like this, and I'm talking seriously wet ground. The bottom one's interesting. Persan, super tough, super fit, rolls forward, probably has to endure a little bit of pain, and that's the problem. Can it win? Geez, it would be one of the stories of all time. Does obviously drop down to the 51 kilos and will whack away. I think it's a top 6 chance. So quite a few I've thought of top 6 chances, but I'm for myself, I'm playing Surprise Baby, Russian Camelot, Tiger Moth to win the race. I think that you have to have Anthony Van Dyke very close by, whether you throw him into win or second. And then I'm going a little bit wider for your placing sort of twilight payment. I have to throw Very Elegant in, Mustajir, Finch certainly, even it could go in for second for mine, Prince of Iran third and fourth. And then horses like Steel Prince, Chosen One, Ash Run, Warning and Persan can all run third, fourth for mine. So I'm going a little bit wider in the trifectas, but I think there's a little bit of quality at the top of the field in the first 4 or 5. And for me there, the three main ones sort of going from the bottom up now the other way. Tiger Moth, Russian Camelot, Surprise Baby, then a little break to Anthony Van Dyke and Finch for me, because they're a little bit more one-paced and the top he's got to carry weight, and then quite wide open from after those 5 for me. Good luck, guys, and really hope you enjoy the day, get a result, and a really solid edition and an exciting race to finish the Melbourne Cup Carnival for this year. Thanks, guys.